No to vote.
Hello, and welcome back to another Pickled Unscripted. As always, I have with me the talented Matt the Pickled Dragon, and I am Dracoya. What are you drinking today, Matt?
Oh, the classic Glenmorangie.
Glenmorangie.
Hey, it's classic.
Somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up with multiple bottles. Um, Sometimes these things just happen, though.
It must be the magic that is your wife.
I think it's the magic of Christmas.
Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. So we have an interesting story for you today about our favorite author, other than Matt, Tolkien.
Yes, I love Tolkien.
But before we jump into it, if you guys want to support the channel and get your special someone a nice Christmas present, go to dracoya.com, DRACOYA.com. We have miniatures, we have paints, we have new pre-orders that are coming. And soon we're going to have t-shirts and plinths and everything galore, dracoya.com. I
Get your paint on. Yeah.
get your
I
paint.
I do love Tolkien though. And you guys all know that we have gone to great lengths to protect his legacy from the slings of arrows of the postmodernists who want to tear down everything because nothing is real and everything's a construct.
That's true. How very sad that that is
Yes.
tends to be the case nowadays.
Yeah, but we found this cool article and it was something that like I think I had heard before but never really thought about it, but um given like the last decade with controversies surrounding Disney buying Marvel and Disney buying pretty much every IP under the sun, really.
Hmm.
Um, it was interesting to read how J.R.R. Tolkien expressed his heartfelt loathing for Walt Disney and refused to let Disney Studios adapt his work,
Yep.
which I think I had heard this in the past again, and but it just reading the article really drove it home for me. I thought it was some of the things Tolkien said about Disney. I thought were pretty scathing.
I actually think it was pretty justified. So I have this thing about Disney, and I don't think I've ever told you this before, Matt, but I have a thing that freaks me out. So if you have ever heard of something called creepypasta, where you basically just had this huge podcast of these scary short stories, and the scariest stories I ever heard on creepypasta all surrounded Disney and Mickey Mouse. Like I am genuinely scared of Disney now, and I really think that Mickey Mouse is just some kind of like devil byproduct. And you guys can feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to be like, Dracoya, you're cray cray. Comment down below. Let me know. I know it's weird, but Mickey Mouse and I, we don't get along.
Is it a fear of mice? A generalized,
No, it
irrational
has nothing to
fear of
do with that.
mice?
It has to do with all these creepy stories, and some of them are actually based on like real stories. Children going missing, murders happening, um, like roller coasters going off the rails, all these weird things. I mean, heck, just what last year or earlier this year, you had that lady who went to Disneyland or Disney World and she was like, "Hey guys, I have all these allergies. I will die. Do not mess this up." Oh no, lady, it's totally fine. Well, what'd they do? They messed it up and she died, poor woman. And then what happened to her husband? Her husband took him to court and they argued for a while that they are not going to pay him because he signed up for Disney Plus and therefore that abstains them from any wrongdoing for her death.
Hey,
That's
what?
nuts.
That was Jacoya's best goofy impression too. Hello. I don't know. I don't know what goofy talk sounds like, but um, I do remember a few years back when there was a kid eaten by an alligator at Disney World. Remember there was all those ponds and stuff around the park, and some kid was pulled into one of them by uh by alligators, and then they were fighting that in court. There's signs posted alligators, or whatever. Um, so
I
yeah,
mean, and to an extent, like I get it. People are so, so, so stupid, Like people are suing because their coffee is hot or other things. And it's like, come on, you're so dumb. And that is what Disney's lawyers are meant to do. They're supposed to argue on behalf, as any good company will have a stream of lawyers that will, no matter what, always argue for them on their behalf. And I get it. But to an extent, it's like, God, that's really evil for you to fight that, but okay.
I I don't generally uh get involved with the mouse. I'm a casual Star Wars fan, and I know that the hardcore Star Wars fans I know are absolutely incensed with what Disney's done to Star Wars,
Yeah, I
and
am.
and you can go through all the different IPs and all the, Marvel, obviously the movies that have come out from Marvel since that acquisition have steadily gotten worse and worse and worse.
Mm.
Um, you know,
Except for the last Doctor Strange movie. Loved that one. They really need to lean into darkness a lot more. But anyway,
yeah, and I don't really have much skin in the game on that because I love Marvel comic books. I love the old school, like 80s Marvel role-playing game. I love that. But I haven't seen many of the movies. I think I saw Iron Man. I didn't see any of the war ones or anything.
well, I've seen all of them. And so in this article, Tolkien even talks about how he doesn't like Walt Disney and how he makes these beautiful tales, a lot of them very dark, just kind of a farce and a goofy, ridiculous story. And it doesn't like it's too ridiculous. And I completely understand because you're talking about the Marvel movies. And a lot of the movies are really good. I'm not saying they're not all great or that they all needed to be tragically dark, which I would have loved, but that's not the point. But like the last Doctor Strange movie was fantastic. They really leaned into that darkness. But a lot of Disney's movies, regardless of the IP, they all lean into this goofy parody of themselves.
Yeah, and Tolkien took his body of work very seriously. And so when you look at what Disney did with like the Brothers Grimm's tales,
Ugh.
it's clear that it's clear that Tolkien would have this nightmare image of what might happen to his IP if Disney got his hands on it. And when I say, he was obviously a contemporary of the actual Walt Disney, and so I say it like his hands, meaning Walt Disney's. Um, Whereas Tolkien's dwarves and his whole his elves and everything, they were derived from from myth and folklore of actual history. And I don't think that they were ever meant to be the silly, kind of Three Stooges-esque dwarves that you found in Snow White and the Seven Dwarves or anything like that. Um, and I love this quote down here. I'm just gonna, you guys can find this article. It's pretty easy to find. Um, so he described Disney's work on the whole as vulgar, and the man himself in a 1964 letter as simply a cheat who is hopelessly corrupted by profit seeking. Though he admits, Tolkien, he is not innocent of the profit motive himself, But I kind of think that it's Disney adapting kind of beloved stories like Brothers Grimm or the Arthur Tale, Sword in the Stone, all that stuff, to the Disney universe, And I think I would wager that there are probably folks who have no idea that, the Brothers Grimm exists today. Like
Oh
they,
yeah.
they look at Disney's body of work and don't realize that it's derivative.
Yeah, no, I can guarantee you at least half of people who are madly in love with Disney have no idea. Not every movie that Disney's put out is like bad. I mean, some of the earlier movies that they put were kind of gold with the writing. Like it was very clever. So kids could enjoy it and grown-ups could enjoy it. And so like Beauty and the Beast, one of my favorite lines is Beast is going, "Oh, but Clocksworth, how do I make Belle fall in love with me?" And he goes, "Oh, well, there's the typical things, roses, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep." It's hilarious.
And the article mentions here at the bottom says Tolkien's long history of expressing negative opinions about Disney led to his later forbidding, as long as it was possible, in quotes, any of his works to be produced by the Disney studios. For all of those works, I have a heartfelt loathing. Um, and so I went and I took a look and I found that,
We fact checked.
yes, I found that in 1969, when Saul Zaentz first got the rights to Tolkien, to adapt his work. And it later turned into the cartoons and the Bakshi Lord of the Rings interpretations and whatnot. Um, and in that agreement, it says Tolkien added a specific clause to prohibit any involvement from the Disney studios, as he feared they would vulgarize his work. Um, so in that agreement, so I don't know if that agreement kind of carried forward in perpetuity or if it was lost or was able to be dropped at some point. Um, I was disappointed. Like Christopher Tolkien, his son, was always very protective of his father's works, and because he knew what it meant to his father. Now, the grandkids, on the other hand, um, they were the ones that, well, there's one grandson in particular who negotiated the Amazon deal that resulted in the train wreck that was the Amazon interpretation of the first and second age.
That was so terrible. Like just and we tried. We tried to watch it, didn't we, Matt? We really did. Sorry.
Yeah,
We
we thought we were gonna watch it and then report on it.
and have some fun with it, make fun of it. No. No, please, no. What a waste of our time. What
It
a waste.
was it was it was pretty agonizing. Like the glaring plot holes and
Ugh. Or the magical
inconsistency.
dagger that Galadriel had in the first couple episodes
She
where it would
kept it in her
appear
prison
and then
wallet.
disappear.
Yeah, she kept it in her prison wallet. That's the only explanation for it coming and going as it was.
I mean, that was ridiculous. Just the whole, oh, like so tragic. But okay, so there's one insult in here that I loved, and it's a very Tolkien-like thing to say, where he calls Disney a poor boob and lamented what might not have come of it if this man had been educated or even brought up in a decent society. Woo! Shots fired.
Yeah, yeah. And Disney's not without his reported faults, but like I said, I don't have much skin in the Disney game. I know there are few things that scare me more than the adult Disney fans. They kind of frighten me a little bit in their rabid love of Disneyland. And I don't think it's necessarily like the movies that they're enamored with. I think it's like the park and the magic and like all the
I
people
think it's
walking around in super hot, goofy suits, and
I think it's the feeling of nostalgia and like childhood. And maybe there's like a whole other episode where we can talk about the psychology of the Disney adult. I don't know. I
ooh,
don't know if we're really qualified for that, but if
I don't want to go anywhere near that. It's like, I know some people are afraid of clowns. They're my clowns.
Well, I mean, if you ask me, it could have been a whole string of events. Like maybe their childhood was so good and adult has been disappointing, so they hold on to Disney. Maybe it's vice versa. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you about the psychology behind a lot of the Disney adults, but hey, to each their own. If they want to be happy with Mickey Mouse, that's cool. Not for me. I have listened to too many creepypasta Satan posts about Disney. I'm good.
Yeah, I need to I guess I need to look into that because I've never heard of all those things. I do know about the alligator attack because I was like, how are they defending this in court? But you know,
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some truth to that too. Yeah, I tend to cry when I get scared. It's like an involuntary reaction. I have to get really, really, really scared. But if I really get to that level of fear, I start bawling. I remember listening to the creepypasta stories behind Disney, just bawling.
oh boy, creepy pasta.
This is what I do for fun. I torture myself. Anyway, you guys should comment, like, subscribe. Try going to dracoya.com and pick up your pre-order of the brand new Chimera Paint Velvets. We have new models coming in every week. Dracoya.com. And if you sign up for my email list, you will get 10% off. But as always, guys, come back and have another round on us.